Chapter 19. Initiation. Initiation is your own life. If you want initiation, write it upon a staff. Whoever has understanding, let him understand, because here there is wisdom. Initiation is neither bought nor sold. Let's flee from those schools that give initiations by correspondence. Let's flee from all those who sell initiations. Initiation is something very intimate for the soul. The eye does not receive initiations. Those who say, I have so many initiations, I have such and such degrees, are liars and fakes, because the eye does not receive initiations or degrees. There are 9 initiations of minor mysteries, and 5 important initiations of major mysteries. It is the soul that receives the initiations. This is a very intimate matter, something one should not go about speaking of, nor should it be told to anyone. All the initiations and degrees the many schools of the physical world confer really have no value in the superior worlds. The masters of the White Lodge only recognize the legitimate initiations of the soul as genuine. It is completely internal. The disciple can ascend the 9 arcades, pass through all 9 initiations of minor mysteries, without having worked in the arcanum A, Zeta F, sexual magic. Nevertheless, it is impossible to enter the major mysteries without sexual magic. This is the arcanum A, Zeta F. In Egypt, everyone who reached the 9th sphere would inevitably receive by word of mouth the formidable secret of the great arcanum, the most powerful arcanum, the arcanum A, Zeta F, the guardian of the threshold. The first trial the candidate has to face is the trial of the guardian of the threshold. This is the reflection of the eye, the innermost depths of the eye. Many are those who fail this terrible trial. The candidate has to invoke the guardian of the threshold in the internal worlds. A frightening electrical hurricane precedes the terrible apparition. The larva of the threshold is armed with a terrible hypnotic power. In fact, this monster has all the horrible ugliness of our own sins. It is the living mirror of our own evils. The struggle is terrible, face to face, hand to hand. If the guardian wins, the candidate becomes enslaved by the horrible monster. If the candidate is victorious, the monster of the threshold flees terrified. Then a metallic sound shakes the universe, and the candidate is received in the chamber of children. This reminds us of that phrase of the Hierophant Jesus the Christ, unless you become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 18 verse 3. In the chamber of children, the candidate is welcomed by the holy masters. The happiness is immense because a human being has entered the path of initiation. The whole college of initiates, children, congratulates the candidate. The candidate has defeated the first guardian. This trial takes place in the astral world. The second guardian. The guardian of the threshold has a second aspect, the mental aspect. We should know that man's mind is still not human. It is in the animal stage. In the mental plane, people have the animal physiognomy that corresponds with their character. The sly one is a real fox there. The passionate looks like a dog, or a billy goat, etc., etc. The encounter with the guardian of the threshold in the plane of the mind is even more frighteningly horrible than in the astral plane. Really, the second guardian is the great guardian of the threshold of the world. The struggle with the second guardian is usually very horrible. The candidate must invoke the second guardian in the mental plane. It comes preceded by the frightening electrical hurricane. If the candidate is victorious, he is received with a warm welcome in the chamber of children in the mental plane. If he fails, he remains enslaved by the horrible monster. All our mental crimes are personified in this larva. The third guardian. The encounter with the third guardian takes place in the world of will. The demon of ill will is the most terrible of the 3. People do their personal will. The masters of the White Lodge do only the will of the Father on earth, as it is in heaven. When the candidate is victorious in the third trial, he is again welcomed in the chamber of children. The music is ineffable, the festivity solemn. The hall of fire. After the candidate has triumphed in the 3 basic trials of the guardian of the immense region, he must then enter the hall of fire. There, the flames purify his internal vehicles. The trials of fire, air, water, and earth. In the ancient Egypt of the pharaohs, these 4 trials had to be faced valiantly in the physical world. Now the candidates have to pass these 4 trials in the supersensible worlds. Trial of fire. This trial is to prove the serenity and sweetness of the candidate. The wrathful and choleric inevitably fail this trial. The candidate is persecuted, insulted, wronged, etc. Many are they who react violently, and return to the physical body having failed completely. The victorious are received in the chamber of children, and are welcomed with delightful music, the music of the spheres. The flames horrify the weak. Trial of air. Those who despair because they lose something or someone, those who fear poverty, those who are not willing to lose what they most love, fail in the trial of air. The candidate is thrown into the depths of a precipice. The weak cry out, and return terrified to the physical body. The victorious are received in the chamber of children with celebration and welcome. Trial of water. The great trial of water is really formidable. The candidate is thrown into the ocean, and believes himself to be drowning. Those who do not know how to adapt to the various social conditions of life, those who do not know how to live among the poor, those who reject struggle and prefer to die after being shipwrecked in the ocean of life. They, the weak, inevitably fail in the trial of water. The victorious are received in the chamber of children with cosmic festivities. Trial of earth. We have to learn how to take advantage of the worst adversities. The worst adversities bring us the best opportunities. We should learn to smile before all adversity. That is the law. Those who succumb to pain before the adversities of existence cannot victoriously pass the trial of earth. In the superior worlds, the candidate finds himself between two enormous mountains that close in on him menacingly. If the candidate screams with horror, he returns to the physical body having failed. If he is serene, he is victorious and is received in the chamber of children with great festivity and immense happiness. Initiations of minor mysteries. When the candidate has surpassed all the introductory trials of the path, he has every right to enter the minor mysteries. Each of the 9 initiations of minor mysteries is received in the intimate consciousness. If the student has a good memory, he can bring the memory of those initiations to the physical brain. When the candidate's memory is not good, the poor neophyte is unaware in the physical world of everything he learns and receives in the superior worlds. Those who wish to be aware in the physical world of all that happens to them during initiation have to develop the memory. It is urgent that the candidate learns to travel consciously in the astral body. It is urgent that the candidate awakens consciousness. The 9 initiations of minor mysteries constitute the probationary path. The 9 initiations of minor mysteries are for the disciples who are on trial. Married disciples who practice the arcanum A, Zeta F, pass these 9 elementary initiations very rapidly. When the disciple is celibate and absolutely chaste, he also passes the 9 initiations, although more slowly. Fornicators cannot receive any initiation. The initiations of major mysteries. There are 5 great initiations of major mysteries. There are 7 serpents, 2 groups of 3, with the sublime coronation of the 7th tongue of fire that unites us with the One, with the Law, with the Father. We need to climb the septenary ladder of fire. The first initiation is related with the first serpent, the second initiation with the second serpent, the third initiation with the third serpent, the fourth initiation with the fourth serpent, the fifth initiation with the fifth serpent. The sixth and seventh belong to Buddhi, or soul consciousness, and to Atman, or the human being's intimate. The first initiation of major mysteries. The first serpent corresponds to the physical body. It is necessary to raise the first serpent through the medullary channel of the physical body. When the serpent reaches the magnetic field at the root of the nose, the candidate attains the first initiation of major mysteries. The soul and the spirit come before the great white lodge without the bodies of sin and in complete absence of the eye. They look at each other, they love each other, and fuse as 2 flames that unite to form a single flame. Thus the divine hermaphrodite is born, and receives a throne from which to rule, and a temple in which to officiate. We must transform ourselves into kings and priests of nature according to the order of Melchizedek. Whoever receives the first initiation of major mysteries, receives the flaming sword that gives him power over the 4 elements of nature. We need to practice sexual magic intensely to raise the serpent upon the staff, as Moses did in the desert. Love is the basis and foundation of initiation. It is necessary to know how to love. The struggle to raise the serpent is very difficult. The serpent should rise slowly, degree by degree. There are 33 vertebrae. There are 33 degrees. In each vertebra, the tenebris attack us terribly. The kundalini rises very slowly, according to the merits of the heart. We have to put an end to all our sins. It is urgent to tread the path of the most absolute sanctity. It is indispensable to practice sexual magic without animal desire. Not only must we kill desire but even the very shadow of desire. We need to be like the lemon. The sexual act should become a true religious ceremony. Jealousy must be eliminated. Know that passionate jealousies do away with peace in the home. The second initiation of major mysteries. The ascent of the second serpent through the medullary channel of the etheric body is very difficult. When the second serpent reaches the magnetic field at the root of the nose, the initiate enters the temple to receive the second initiation of major mysteries. It is good to note that the human personality does not enter the temple. It remains at the door putting its affairs in order with the lords of karma. Within the temple, the intimate, together with his etheric body, is crucified. That is to say, the intimate is clothed in the etheric body for the crucifixion. This is how the etheric body is Christified. The Soma Suchikan, the wedding garment of the soul, the body of gold, is born in the second initiation. This vehicle is formed by the two superior ethers. The etheric body has 4 ethers, 2 superior and 2 inferior. We can enter all the regions of the kingdom with the wedding garment of the soul. This initiation is very difficult. The student is tested severely. If he is victorious, the midnight sun shines, and the 5-pointed star with its central eye descends from it. This star comes to rest above the head of the neophyte as a sign of approval. The result of the victory is initiation. The third initiation of major mysteries. The third serpent rises through the medullary channel of the astral spectre. The third serpent must reach the magnetic field at the root of the nose and, from there, descend to the heart via a secret path in which there are 7 holy chambers. When the third serpent reaches the heart, a most beautiful child, the Christ astral, is born. The result of all this is initiation. In the astral body, the neophyte has to go through the entire drama of the Passion of Christ. He has to be crucified, die, and be buried. He has to resurrect, and must also descend to the abyss, and remain there for 40 days before the ascension. The supreme ceremony of the third initiation is received with the Christ astral. Sanat Kumara, Ancient of Days, appears over the altar to confer the initiation upon us. Everyone who achieves the third initiation of major mysteries receives the Holy Spirit. It is necessary to know how to love our spouse to attain this initiation. The sexual union should be full of immense love. The phallus should always enter the vulva very gently, in order not to harm the organs of the woman. Each kiss, each word, each caress should be totally free of desire. Animal desire is a very grave obstacle to initiation. Many puritanical people, upon reading these lines, would judge us as immoral. These people, however, are not scandalized by brothels or prostitutes. They insult us, but they are incapable of going to preach the good law in the neighborhoods where prostitutes live. They hate us, but they are incapable of abhorring their own sins. They condemn us because we preach the religion of sex, but they are incapable of condemning their own fornication. Such is humanity. The fourth initiation of major mysteries. The fourth initiation of major mysteries is reached when the fourth serpent has succeeded in the ascent through the medullary channel of the mental spectre. The fourth serpent also reaches the space between the eyebrows and descends to the heart. In the world of the mind, Sanat Kumara always welcomes the candidates, saying, "You have liberated yourself from the 4 bodies of sin. You are a Buddha. You have penetrated into the world of the gods. You are a Buddha. Everyone who liberates himself from the 4 bodies of sin is a Buddha. You are a Buddha. You are a Buddha." The cosmic festivity of this initiation is grandiose. The entire world, the entire universe, trembles with happiness, saying, "A new Buddha has been born." The Divine Mother Kundalini presents her child in the temple saying, "This is my beloved son. He is a new Buddha. He is a new Buddha. He is a new Buddha." The holy women congratulate the candidate with a sacred kiss. The festival is terribly divine. The great masters of the mind extract from within the mental spectre the beautiful child of the Christ mind. This child is born in the fourth initiation of major mysteries. Everyone who receives the fourth initiation gains nirvana. Nirvana is the world of the holy gods. Whoever reaches the fourth initiation receives the globe of the imperator of the mind. The sign of the cross shines upon this globe. The mind must be crucified and stigmatized in the initiation. The universal fire sparkles in the world of the mind. Each of the 33 chambers of the mind teaches us incredible truths. The fifth initiation of major mysteries. The fifth serpent rises through the medullary channel of that embryo of the soul we have incarnated. The fifth serpent must reach the space between the eyebrows, and then descend to the heart. The body of conscious will is born in the fifth major initiation. Everyone who is born in the world of conscious will inevitably incarnates his soul. Everyone who incarnates his soul becomes a true man with soul. Every true, complete, and immortal man is an authentic master. Before the fifth initiation of major mysteries, no one should be called by the title of master. We learn to do the will of the Father in the fifth initiation. We must learn to obey the Father. That is the law. In the fifth initiation, we must decide which of the two paths we will take, either to remain in nirvana enjoying the infinite happiness of boundless sacred space, sharing with ineffable gods, or to renounce that immense happiness and remain living in this valley of tears to help the poor suffering humanity. This is the path of long and bitter duty. He who renounces nirvana for love of humanity, having won and lost nirvana for love of humanity, later attains the Venustic initiation. Everyone who receives the Venustic initiation incarnates the intimate Christ. There are millions of Buddhas in nirvana who have not incarnated the Christ. It is better to renounce nirvana for the love of humanity and have the joy of incarnating the Christ. The Christ man enters worlds of supernirvanic happiness and later, the Absolute. The perfect matrimony. The path of cosmic realization is the path of perfect matrimony. Victor Hugo, the great initiate humanist, wrote the following: Man and woman. Man is the most elevated of creatures, woman the most sublime of ideals. God made for man a throne, for woman an altar. The throne exalts, the altar sanctifies. Man is the brain, woman the heart. The brain creates light, the heart love. Light engenders, love resurrects. Because of reason, man is strong. Because of tears, woman is invincible. Reason is convincing. Tears moving. Man is capable of all heroism, woman of all martyrdom. Heroism ennobles, martyrdom sublimates. Man has supremacy, woman preference. Supremacy is strength, preference is the right. Man is a genius, woman an angel. Genius is immeasurable, the angel undefinable. The aspiration of man is supreme glory, the aspiration of woman is extreme virtue. Glory creates all that is great, virtue, all that is divine. Man is a code, woman a gospel. A code corrects, the gospel perfects. Man thinks, woman dreams. To think is to have a worm in the brain. To dream is to have a halo on the brow. Man is an ocean, woman, a lake. The ocean has the adorning pearl, the lake, dazzling poetry. Man is the flying eagle, woman, the singing nightingale. To fly is to conquer space. To sing is to conquer the soul. Man is a temple, woman a shrine. Before the temple we discover ourselves, before the shrine we kneel. In short, man is found where earth finishes, woman, where heaven begins. These sublime phrases of the great initiate humanist, Victor Hugo, invite us to live the path of perfect matrimony. Blessed be love. Blessed are the beings who adore each other. The food of the serpent. The entire path of initiation is based on the serpent. It has its special cosmic food. There are 5 known basic elements with which the serpent is nourished, namely the philosophical earth, the elemental water of the wise, elemental fire, elemental air, and ether. The elementals of nature live in these elements. Gnomes inhabit the philosophical earth. Undines live in the water, sylphs in the air, etc. Gnomes work in the entrails of the great mountain range. This is the spinal column. The work carried out by gnomes consists of transmutation of the lead of the personality into the gold of the spirit. The raw matter is the seminal fluid. The furnace of the laboratory is the coccygeal chakra. The water is the seminal fluid, and the sympathetic cords form the great chimney through which the seminal vapors ascend to the distillery of the brain. The entire work of the gnomes is alchemical. Metallic transmutation is the basis of initiation. Raw matter must be transmuted into philosophical gold. Gnomes need the fire of the salamanders and the water of the undines. Gnomes also need the vital air and friendly sylphs of the mind in order to move the seminal vapors inward and upward. The outcome is the transmutation of lead into gold. When the aura of the initiate is pure gold, the work has been completely realized. The region of earth extends from the feet to the knees. Its mantra is La. The region of water is from the knees to the anus. Its mantra is Va. The region of fire is from the anus to the heart. Its mantra is Ra. The region of air encompasses the area from the heart to the space between the eyebrows. Its fundamental mantra is Ya. The region of ether extends from the space between the eyebrows to the top of the head, and its mantra is Har. The serpent of fire is nourished with these 5 basic elements. Now we can comprehend why the neophyte has to pass the ordeals of earth, water, fire, and air. The purifications and sanctifications related with these elements of nature, nourish the serpent, and permit its ascent through the sacred mountain range of the spinal column. The ascent of the serpent is impossible without the purifications and sanctifications of these four elements. Brahma is the god of earth. Narayana is the god of water. Rudra is the god of fire. Ishwara is the god of air. Siddha is the god of ether. By meditating upon these ineffable gods, we can obtain their assistance for the awakening of the chakras, wheels, or discs of the vital body. It is advisable to make these magnetic centers vibrate in order to prepare them for the advent of the fire. Meditate and vocalize the mantra for each element. Concentrate your attention on each of these elemental gods, and beg them to help you with the awakening of the chakras. You will become a practical occultist in this way. The laboratory of the third logos. The earth has 9 strata. The laboratory of the third logos is in the 9th. Actually, the 9th stratum of the earth lies exactly in the center of the planetary mass. The Holy Eight is there. It is the divine symbol of the infinite. In this symbol, the brain, heart, and sex of the planetary genie are represented. The name of this genie is Chamgam. The center of the Holy Eight corresponds to the heart, and its upper and lower extremities to the brain and sex respectively. All beings of the earth are structured on this basis. The struggle is terrible, brain against sex, sex against brain, and that which is most terrible, that which is most grave and painful is heart against heart. The sacred serpent is coiled in the heart of the earth, precisely in the 9th sphere. She is septuple in her constitution, and each of her 7 igneous aspects corresponds to one of the 7 serpents of man. The creative energy of the third logos elaborates the chemical elements of the earth, with all its multifaceted complexity of form. When this creative energy withdraws from the center of the earth, our world will then become a cadaver. This is how worlds die. Man's serpentine fire emanates from the serpentine fire of the earth. The formidable serpent profoundly sleeps within its mysterious nest of strange, hollow spheres, similar in fact to a true Chinese puzzle. These are subtle concentric astrospheres. Indeed, just as the earth has 9 concentric spheres in the depths of which is the formidable serpent, so too does the human being because he is the microcosm of the macrocosm. Man is a universe in miniature. The infinitely small is analogous to the infinitely large. Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen are the 4 basic elements with which the third logos works. The chemical elements are placed in order of their atomic weights. The lightest is hydrogen, whose atomic weight is 1, ending with uranium, whose atomic weight is 238.5, and which is in fact the heaviest of the known elements. The electrons constitute a bridge between spirit and matter. Hydrogen in itself is the most rarefied element known, the primary manifestation of the serpent. Every element, every food, every organism is synthesized into a specific type of hydrogen. Sexual energy corresponds to hydrogen-12, and its musical note is C. The electronic solar matter is the sacred fire of Kundalini. When we liberate this energy, we enter the path of authentic initiation. Chukmul. The Chukmul of Aztec Mexico is marvelous. Chukmul really existed. He was an incarnated adept, one of the great initiates of the powerful serpentine civilization of ancient Mexico and of the great Tenochtitlan. The tomb of Chukmul was located, and his remains were found. Therefore, there can be no doubt that Chukmul really existed. If you observe the manner in which Chukmul is reclining, we see that he is resting in the same position the Egyptian initiates assumed when they wanted to travel in the astral body while pronouncing the mantra, Fa Ra An. Nevertheless, something curious appears in Chukmul's umbilical region. It is a bowl or receptacle, as if to receive something. In fact, the solar plexus is marvelous, and Chukmul left humanity a great teaching. The Kundalini or igneous serpent of our magical powers has a great deposit of solar energy in the umbilical region within the solar plexus chakra. This magnetic center is very important in initiation, because it is the one that receives the primary energy which is subdivided into 10 splendorous radiations. This primary energy circulates through the secondary nervous canals, animating and nourishing all the chakras. The solar plexus is governed by the sun. If the student wants to have really vigorous, objective clairvoyance in the most complete sense of the word, he must learn to take the solar energy from its deposit in the solar plexus to the frontal chakra. The mantra Sui Ra is the key that permits us to extract solar energy from the plexus of the sun in order to carry it to the frontal chakra. Vocalize in this way, Sui Ra, for 1 hour daily. The result will be the positive awakening of the frontal chakra. If we want solar strength for the laryngeal chakra, we must vocalize the mantra, Swera, in this way, Swera. If we need solar energy for the lotus of the heart, we must vocalize the mantra, Su-o-ra, in this way, Su-o-ra. Everything is summarized in the great Su-ara, in which, according to the Vedas and the Sastras, the silent Gandharva, heavenly musician, is found. It is necessary to know how to use the solar energy deposited in the solar plexus. It is good for aspirants of initiation to lie down face up, feet on the bed, knees raised. It is evident that by putting the soles of the feet on the bed, the knees are lifted, directed towards the sky, towards Urania. While in the Chakmul position, the aspirant imagines that the energy of the sun enters through the solar plexus, making it vibrate and rotate from left to right, like the hands of a clock when we look at it from the front. This exercise can be done for 1 hour daily. The basic mantra of this magnetic center is the vowel U. This vowel can be vocalized by elongating the sound in this way, U. A well-awakened solar plexus marvelously animates all the chakras of the organism. Thus, this is how we prepare ourselves for initiation. Chakmul was venerated in Serpentine, Mexico. 2 warrior castes worshipped him. Chakmul was carried in great processions and entered the Aztec temples, worshipped by the multitudes. They also made supplications to him asking for rain for the earth. This great master helps those who invoke him. Tiny sculptures of Chakmul can be made, or amulets of the figure of Chakmul, in order to wear around the neck as a medallion. Serpentine civilizations. Authentic initiation was received in the great mystery temples of the Serpentine civilizations. Only Serpentine civilizations are true civilizations. It is necessary that the vanguard of human civilization, made up of our beloved brethren, Theosophists, Rosicrucians, Hermetic yogis, spiritualists, etc., abandon their old prejudices and fears, and unite together to create a new Serpentine civilization. It is urgent to know that the barbarian populace of this day and age, wrongly called a modern civilization, is approaching its final catastrophe. The present world is struggling within a frightful chaos, and if we really want to save it, we all need to be united in order to create a Serpentine civilization, the civilization of Aquarius. We need to make a supreme and desperate effort in order to save the world, because right now, everything is lost. The universal Christian Gnostic movement is non-sectarian. The Gnostic movement is made up of the army of world salvation, of all spiritual schools, of all lodges, religions, and sects. The exoteric and esoteric circles. Humanity develops in 2 circles, the exoteric and the esoteric. The exoteric is public. The esoteric is secret. The multitudes live in the exoteric circle. However, the adepts of the Great White Brotherhood live in the esoteric circle. It is a duty for all those initiated brethren to help those who are within the public circle. It is necessary to bring many to the secret circle of the White Brotherhood. The initiatic path is a true revolution of the consciousness. This revolution has 3 perfectly defined aspects. First, to be born. Second, to die. And third, to sacrifice ourselves for humanity, to give our life for humanity, to struggle in order to bring others to the secret path. To be born is an absolutely sexual problem. To die is the work of the dissolution of the I, the ego. Sacrifice for others is love. In the public circle there are thousands of schools, books, sects, contradictions, theories, etc. That is a labyrinth from which only the strongest come out. Really, all of those schools are useful. We find grains of truth in all of them. All religions are holy and divine, all of them are necessary. Nevertheless, the secret path is only found by the strongest. Infrasexual people mortally hate this path. They feel more perfect than the third logos. These people will never be able to find the secret path, the path of the razor's edge. The secret path is sex. Through this straight, narrow, and difficult path we reach the esoteric circle, the sanctum regnum Dei, magus regnum. The chakras and the plexuses. The candidate for initiation must know the position of the chakras and plexuses profoundly. The fundamental one is at the base of the spine, the 4th sacral vertebra, the coccygeal plexus. The splenic is on the spleen, the 1st lumbar vertebra, the splenic plexus. This center obeys the solar plexus. Nevertheless, we have to recognize that the true second center is the prostatic, and not the splenic. The umbilical is above the navel, the 8th thoracic vertebra, the solar plexus. The cardiac is in the heart, the 8th cervical vertebra, the cardiac plexus. The laryngeal is in the throat, the thyroid gland, the 3rd cervical vertebra, the pharyngeal plexus. The frontal is between the eyebrows, the first cervical vertebra, the carotid plexus. It is urgent to know that the chakras and the plexuses are connected by means of nerve filaments. As the serpent rises through the spinal column, the spinal chakras are put into activity, and by induction, the plexuses are also activated. The chakras are in the cerebrospinal nervous system and the plexuses in the sympathetic nervous system. As the serpent rises through the medullary canal, it puts into full activity the spinal chakras, or churches, in successive order. These in turn make the corresponding sympathetic plexuses vibrate by electric induction. It is urgent to know that each spinal chakra and each sympathetic plexus is septuple in its internal constitution, just like the igneous serpent of our magical powers. The first serpent opens the chakras in the physical world, the second in the etheric, the third in the astral, the fourth in the mental, the fifth in the causal, the sixth in the bathic, and the seventh in the intimates. This process is the same for the plexuses because the chakras or churches are connected to the plexuses by their nerve branches. So the initiate should not despair if he has not opened the astral chakras with the first serpent. They are only opened with the third serpent, that of the astral. With the first, only counterparts of the physical are opened in the intimate. Bear in mind that the intimate is the counterpart of the physical. Clarifications. Initiation cannot be bought with money or sent by mail. Initiation is neither bought nor sold. Initiation is your own life accompanied by temple celebrations. It is necessary to avoid all those impostors who sell initiations. It is urgent to keep away from all those who send initiations by mail. Initiation is something very intimate, very secret, very divine. Avoid all those who say, I have so many initiations, so many degrees. Avoid all those who say, I am a master of the major mysteries. I have received so many initiations. Remember, dear reader, that the I, the personality, do not receive initiations. Initiation is a matter for the intimate. It has to do with the consciousness, with the very delicate things of the soul. One must not go about speaking of these things. No true adept would ever use phrases like, I am a master of the White Lodge, I have such and such a degree, I have so many initiations, I have these powers, etc. The problem of internal illumination. Many occultist students want internal illumination and suffer horribly because, despite many years of study in esoteric practices, they remain as blind and unconscious as when they began to read the first books. We, the brethren of the temple, know through our own experience that the cardiac chakra is definitive for internal illumination. The Shiva Samhita, a great Hindustani book, speaks at great length about the benefits obtained by the yogi when meditating on the chakra of the tranquil heart. He gets immeasurable knowledge, knows the past, present, and future time, has clairaudience, clairvoyance, and can walk in the air whenever he likes. He sees the adepts and the goddesses known as yoginis, obtains the powers called Kechari, moving in the air, and Bachari, going at will all over the world. Those who want to learn how to travel in the astral body at will, those who want to penetrate jinn science to learn how to place themselves within the fourth dimension with their physical body, and transport themselves with their physical body to any place in the world without the necessity of an airplane. Those who urgently need to awaken clairvoyance and clairaudience must concentrate their mind daily on the cardiac chakra and meditate profoundly on that marvelous center. To meditate on this center for 1 hour daily is marvelous. The mantra of this chakra is the vowel O, which is vocalized by prolonging the sound like this, O. During the practice indicated here, one must pray to the Christ, asking him to awaken the heart chakra. Summary of the 5 great initiations. First initiation. The intimate and the consciousness soul, buddhi, are fused, thus forming a new initiate, one more who enters the stream. Second initiation. The etheric body called Soma Suchikan is born. Third initiation. The chakras of the astral body are opened, and the Christ astral is born as a beautiful child. Fourth initiation. The Christ mind is born as a very precious child. The initiate has been born as a new Buddha. Fifth initiation. The human soul, or causal body or body of will, is fused with the inner master who is Atman Buddhi, the intimate and consciousness. Thus the 3 flames are one. This is a new and legitimate master of the major mysteries of the White Lodge. The one who reaches the 5th initiation can enter nirvana. The one who reaches the 5th initiation is born in the causal world. The one who reaches the 5th initiation incarnates the soul. Only the person who reaches the 5th initiation is a man with soul, that is to say, a true man. The vehicles of fire. The authentic and legitimate astral, mental, and causal vehicles are born of sexual magic. It is obvious that during the copulation between man and woman, the aura of the husband and wife are totally opened. Therefore, within our own depths, marvelous psychic fertilizations can be realized. The final outcome becomes precisely the birth of our legitimate astral, and later the birth of the other bodies in successive order. Patience and tenacity. Powers are not obtained by playing around. This is a question of much patience. Inconsistent people, those who go about looking for results, those who after a few months of practices are already demanding signs, indeed are not prepared for occultism. People like that are not good for these studies. People like that are not mature. We advise these people to become members of some religion, and to wait a while until they mature. To tread the path of the razor's edge, one needs the patience of Saint Job. To tread the path of the razor's edge, we need the tenacity of very well-tempered steel. Conscious faith. Those people who enter practical occultism, that are full of doubt, totally fail. The one who doubts our teachings is not prepared for the path of the razor's edge. For people like this, it is best that they join some religion, and beg to the great reality for the solar power of conscious faith. When they have gained conscious faith, they are then ready to enter this straight, narrow, and difficult path. The one who doubts occultism must not traverse this difficult path until he receives the power of conscious faith. The occultist who doubts can become crazy. Faith is a marvelous solar power. Religions and schools. All the religions and spiritual schools in the world are very necessary, and serve as an antechamber to enter the vestibule of wisdom. We must never speak against these schools and religions because all are necessary for the world. We receive the first light of spirituality in these schools and religions. The worst would be a people without religion, a people who persecute those dedicated to spiritual studies. In fact, a people without religion is monstrous. Each human group needs its school, its religion, its sect, its instructors, etc. Each human group is different, and therefore the different schools and religions are necessary. Whoever treads the path of initiation must know how to respect the beliefs of others. Charity. The one who follows the path of perfect matrimony must develop charity. Cruel and pitiless people do not progress in this path. It is urgent to learn how to love, and always be willing to give even their last drop of blood for others. The warmth of charity opens all the doors of the heart. The warmth of charity brings solar faith to the mind. Charity is conscious love. The fire of charity develops the chakra of the heart. The fire of charity permits the sexual serpent to rise rapidly through the medullary canal. Whoever wants to advance rapidly on the path of the razor's edge must practice sexual magic intensely, and give himself totally to great universal charity. Thus, by sacrificing himself absolutely for his fellow man, and giving his blood and his life for them, he will be rapidly Christified. Psychic development. Every sensation is an elemental change in the state of the psyche. Sensations exist in each of the 6 basic dimensions of nature and man, and all of them are accompanied by elemental changes of the psyche. Sensations we experience always leave a trace in our memory. We have 2 types of memory, spiritual and animal. The first conserves memories of sensations experienced in the superior dimensions of space. The second conserves memories of physical sensations. Memories of sensations constitute perceptions. Every physical or psychic perception is really the memory of a sensation. Memories of sensations are organized into groups that associate or dissociate, attract or repel. Sensations polarize into 2 perfectly definable currents. The first obeys the character of the sensations. The second obeys the time of receipt of the sensations. The sum total of various sensations converted into a common cause are projected, externally, as an object. Then we say this tree is green, tall, small, has a pleasant or unpleasant smell, etc. When the perception is in the astral or mental worlds, we say this object or subject has these qualities, this color, etc. In the latter, the sum total of the sensations is internal, its projection is also internal, and it belongs to the 4th, 5th, or 6th dimension, etc. We see physical perceptions with the physical apparatus, and psychic ones with the psychic apparatus. In the same way that we have physical senses of perception, we also have psychic senses of perception. Everyone who follows the path of initiation must develop these psychic senses. Concepts are always formed with the memories of perceptions. Thus, concepts emitted by the great adept founders of religions are due to the transcendental memories of their psychic perceptions. Formation of perceptions leads to formation of words, and the appearance of language. Formation of internal perceptions leads to formation of the mantric language, and the appearance of the golden language spoken by adepts and angels. Existence of language is impossible when there are no concepts, and there are no concepts when there are no perceptions. Those who toss around concepts about the internal worlds without ever having perceived those worlds generally falsify reality, even though they may have good intentions. In the elemental levels of psychic life, many sensations are expressed with shouts, howls, noises, etc., which reveal joy or terror, pleasure or pain. This occurs in the physical world, and also in the internal worlds. Appearance of language represents a change in the consciousness. So too, when the disciple begins to speak in the universal cosmic language, a change in consciousness has been made. Only the serpent's universal fire and dissolution of the recurring ego can provoke such a change. Concept and word are one and the same substance. Concept is internal, and word is external. This process is similar in all the levels of consciousness, and in all dimensions of space. Ideas are only abstract concepts. Ideas are much larger concepts, and belong to the world of spiritual archetypes. Everything existing in the physical world is a copy of those archetypes. During samadhi, the initiate can visit the world of spiritual archetypes in astral or superastral travels. The mystic contents of transcendental sensations and emotions cannot be expressed in common language. Words can only suggest them or allude to them. Really, only the regal art of nature can define those superlative and transcendental emotions. Regal art was known in every serpentine civilization. The pyramids of Egypt and Mexico, the ancient sphinx, old monoliths, sacred hieroglyphics, sculptures of the gods, etc., are archaic witnesses of regal art, which speak only to the consciousness and to the ears of the initiate. The initiate learns this regal art during mystical ecstasy. Space, with its properties, is a form of our sentient receptivity. We can verify this when, through development of the chakras, we are able to perceive all space in tetradimensional form instead of the tridimensional form to which we were previously accustomed. Characteristics of the world change when the psychic apparatus changes. Development of the chakras makes the world change for the initiate. With the development of the chakras, we eliminate subjective elements of perception from our mind. That which is subjective has no reality. That which is objective is spiritual, real. An increase in psychic characteristics comes with the awakening of the chakras by means of internal discipline. Novelty in the psychic field obscures the changes that are simultaneously processed in perception of the physical world. The new is felt, but the initiate is not capable of logically and axiomatically defining the scientific difference between the old and the new. The result of such incapacity is a lack of perfect conceptual equilibrium. It is thus urgent to achieve conceptual equilibrium so the doctrinal exposition of initiates can correctly fulfill its purpose. Change of consciousness is the true objective of esoteric discipline. We need cosmic consciousness. This is the sense of consciousness of the cosmos. It is the life and order of the universe. Cosmic consciousness brings into existence a new type of intellectualism, illuminated intellection. This faculty is a characteristic of the Superman. There are three types of consciousness. First, simple consciousness. Second, individual self-consciousness. Third, cosmic consciousness. Animals possess the first. The intellectual animal called man has the second. Gods have the third. When cosmic consciousness is born in man, he feels internally as if the serpent's fire were consuming him. The flash of Brahmanic splendor penetrates his mind and consciousness, and from that moment he is initiated into a new and superior order of ideas. The Brahmanic delight has the flavor of nirvana. When the initiate has been illuminated by the Brahmanic fire, he enters the esoteric or secret circle of humanity. In that circle we find an ineffable family, constituted by those ancient hierophants known in the world as avatars, prophets, gods, etc. Members of this distinguished family are found in all advanced races of the human species. These beings are the founders of Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity, Sufism, etc., etc. Actually, these beings are few, but, despite being so few, they are truthfully the directors and rectors of the human species. Cosmic consciousness has infinite degrees of development. The cosmic consciousness of a new initiate is inferior to that of an angel, and that of an angel is not the same as an archangel's development. In this there are degrees and degrees. This is Jacob's ladder. It is impossible to achieve cosmic consciousness without sanctity. It is impossible to achieve sanctity without love. Love is the path of sanctity. The most grandiose form of love's manifestation is attained during sexual magic. In those instances, man and woman are a single, terribly divine hermaphroditic being. Sexual magic offers all the internal conditions needed to receive the Brahmanic splendor. Sexual magic provides the devotee all the igneous elements necessary for the birth of cosmic consciousness. For cosmic consciousness to appear, a certain degree of culture is required, education of the elements in affinity with cosmic consciousness, and elimination of the elements contrary to cosmic consciousness. The most characteristic feature of those individuals prepared to receive cosmic consciousness is that they see the world as Maya, illusion. They sense that the world, as people see it, is only an illusion, and they search for the great reality, the spiritual, the truth, that which is beyond illusion. For the birth of cosmic consciousness, it is necessary for man to surrender himself completely to the spiritual, to the internal. Sexual magic offers the initiate all the possibilities required to obtain the Brahmanic splendor and the birth of cosmic consciousness. It is urgent that sexual magic be combined with internal meditation and sanctity. In this way, we prepare ourselves to receive the Brahmanic splendor. Really, angels are perfect men. Whoever reaches the perfect state of man becomes an angel. Those who claim an angel is inferior to man are falsifying the truth. No one can reach the angelic state if he has not previously achieved the state of a perfect man. No one can achieve the state of a perfect man if he has not previously incarnated his soul. That is a sexual matter. The angel is only born within the true man. Cosmic consciousness is only born within the true man.